Ashley. I am the head coach at Weaver High School.
Coach Ashley, tell everybody a little bit about you growing up, where you went to school in high school, college, for people that aren't familiar with them, give them a little bit of background.
Okay, well, I went to elementary school here at Weaver and till about the 6th grade, and we moved around a little bit, went to Alexandria a couple years, and finally settled in at Pleasant Valley, where, thank goodness I went there. Is where I met my wife. And so I was a great athlete at Pleasant Valley, and graduated there from '92. And went and like everybody else, thought I was just going to go play ball somewhere and just go to college, and that kind of didn't work out. Went to Gadsden State, and so I worked for 5 years and decided that's not what I want to do for a living. Talked to my wife, and we kind of got together and said I want to go back to school. So I went back to school and got out in about 2.5 years and got my first job working under Doug Davis at Anson High School. Walked in one day and someone coached football. He says, "You're the junior high head coach." I said, "Awesome." And so had some really good players there, and went good for a year. Then kind of moved on to Cherokee County, worked for Trip Curry. Won a lot of ball games with that guy. He's what a great stand-up coach, and learned a lot from him. I've worked with some really good coaches. Then left from Cherokee County after 2 years and went to Cedartown, Georgia. Coached football and I was a head girls basketball coach, and it was softball a little bit. Stayed there for 5 years, and then just kind of worked out one day where somebody called me and said, "Hey, Weaver's got a job opening." I really didn't think about coming back because I enjoyed Georgia so much, but kind of went and throwed my resume in and just kind of talked to some people. And I was cutting grass with a guy named Wayne Weegley one day, and my wife come up to me, and I didn't hear anything after the interview, and she said, "You got that job?" I said, "What job are you talking about?" She said, "Weaver called and said you're hired." I went, "Oh, well, that's awesome." So I went and resigned at Cedartown and came to Weaver, and I've always wanted to be here. And got up here, and Coach Chambers was head football coach. We really didn't even know each other that well, and I told him I wanted to coach football. He said, "Well, you're going to coach football with a guy named Anthony Ash." He's a big Gadsden guy over. He's the principal in Gadsden. What a great guy, great football player. And don't want to say the rest is history, but then kind of moved into the coach a couple years, and then moved into the offense coordinator slot, and then took a little bit of a break. And I've been the girls basketball and softball coach for the last 8 years, and pros come a long way, which y'all know that too. And kind of thought this job came open. Kind of thought been around these boys. Kind of thought maybe, hey, throw my hat in there and see what happens. And look, it ain't been nothing but great. So,
Coach, you mentioned you talked about you've been an assistant for years. Coach Hamby did some incredible things here at Weaver. He left his mark, and when he left, everybody knew the next replacement, it was going to be a tough job. And Coach Taylor left this offseason. So talk about the Weaver position, opening back up this year, and then talk about how that came about, you getting head coach.
Right. Well, I'm good friends with Coach Taylor, and just when he moved on, and then we don't even talk about nothing, even in the past. From when I was here years ago, and even those 2 years, everything we do is moving forward. So it's just, you hear a lot of things about how I've been on the girls' side for so long at Weaver, and I know how they do, and I know what they expect from me, and how I coach. And I'm a little different. If you see me coach, we're a lot of energy, a lot of high tempo. And the boys, I was kind of curious to see how that was going to catch on with the boys. And then when we started spring training in the first practice, when they figured out kind of what I was all about, look, we've hit the ground running, man. They're all about the energy. They're all about how we do things at practice. They're all about the weight room. What people have said about these kids is not true. These kids, they're hungry. They want to get after it. They want to make you happy, and you can see that. You can see it. You saw it in the spring game. You saw the energy. You saw the excitement, and it's not just me in this school at Weaver. It's community, the faculty. Everybody's excited about football right now at Weaver High School. So. We're going to try to keep this train rolling as long as we can.
Coach, you've been a head softball and basketball coach with a ton of success. I've talked about, I remember sitting in the gym watching you guys give us some drummings, man. But you've had a ton of success so how can you take that success from basketball and softball and transpire that into your first head coaching football job?
Well, I learned how to do it one way. I know how to do, I've coached on some really good coaches. And so just learning how the process of kind of what I think you need to do to win ball games is kind of how we're going to do stuff. And I took I'm going to take the same approach with football as I took with softball and basketball. Just kind of the best players are going to play. We're going to get after it. We're going to work, and they know that. And And softball and basketball was so easy because once we started getting success, the girls they knew what we was doing. They knew how we was doing stuff in the summer and how we was working out. And the boys are starting to figure that out too now. And look, it's gotten so much easier and so much better. The kids are here every day. We've had over 70 boys and girls showing up at workouts every day, getting after it. I ain't had no problems. They do exactly what I tell them to do. I mean, it's actually been a breath of fresh air of how these kids have allowed me to coach them the way we coach them. And listen, I got some great coaches also too. Every guy's coach that can come in here to coach, and they are doing a phenomenal job of what they do.
Coach, what are your visions and goals taking over this Weaver program?
Well, I'm going to tell you what, our number one vision is, you always hear your whole life is we're going to take one game at a time. And you're always like, you don't do that. Well, look, we are. We are worried about Douglas is who we're worried about. Every rep, every sprint, everything we do in the weight room is for Douglas High School, the first game at home. So, and look, I ain't dumb. Everybody in this knows how our region is. I know in the back of my mind what we have to do to try to be competitive with those teams. And but I'm trying to not worry about any of that. We'll get to them when we get to them, but we are worried about Douglas High School, and we're worried about putting a good product on the field for this place to be packed August 20th. That's what we're worried about right now. Everything we do is for Douglas.
You got me fired up. I
love it.
Coach, who's somebody, maybe it's another coach or role model, somebody who influences you as a coach? Who do you look up to?
Look, he's my guy, Daryl Hamby. I mean, look, he's so respected and such a great coach. And look, he's done so much for me and my family and for Weaver High School and this community that, I'd fight to the death for that guy. I mean, he means so much to me. And just watching the way he ran stuff and how family oriented Weaver was while he was here is exactly the way I'm going to do things. And so, I'm just going to try to step in his footsteps. Of course, I'm going to do some things a little different, but just to follow the way he done stuff is. Look, proof's in the pudding for him. Success, everything he done was he's a winner, and and I kind of follow that. And I want to be that. I want to be like that guy when I grow up. That's what I should say.
Coach, I just got a few questions left. Talk about COVID last year. Just the adjustments you have to make as a coach, and all the different sanitation, different things you have to do. So just talk about how much things have changed from COVID and how you guys have kind of been able to do things this spring and summer compared to last year.
Well, listen, just being able to come in and shake your guys' hands when you get here is awesome. I'm a hugger, I'm a handshaker. I love all that stuff. I love being around people. Just being the first day of workouts, not have to stand out there underneath the tent and zap everybody's forehead with see what your temperature was and ask you 5 questions, make sure you got COVID, and everybody's like us before the season started last year. Look, all of you got to say no or I got to make you leave. So regardless, everybody's wanting to get their kids to work out. It's just that aspect of it, of being to get the kids together and the way we've been doing football stuff during the week after workouts and just being able to be together as a team and just being able to put our hands on each other it's been great.
Coach, so I know you haven't really got to, have your first practice. I mean, you had spring training, but your first full-on fall season practice. But if I was to come out to this beautiful facility, and I've asked the previous coaches this, during football season, and I come out and watch you guys practice, what would a Weaver High School football practice look like?
Look, there's no doubt if you come to one of our practices, you probably want to put on a pair of shoulder pads and helmets and go out there and play with us. It is so upbeat, and we're trying to be very physical, and we want everything. We do everything with a purpose. We're not going to do nothing at practice that we're not going to do in a game. And that's the biggest sell point which I think everybody tries to do that also. But everything is fast and moving around, and we're very physical. And listen, we're having a good time. I don't want kids to go to school all day long and then dread coming to football practice. I want them to know we're going to come out there and we're doing everything for a purpose, and we're here to win football games and to get better as people. I mean, everybody says that, but that's what we want to do. And so I want when you come out there, when you leave Weaver football practice, it's one of them places where, man, if I had some kids right now, I want to bring them to Weaver. Especially after you see these facilities and how pretty the school is. We're going to put that same product on the football field and every other sport at Weaver High School. And so, we got a little saying around here, we hope we're a sleeping giant around here in football is what we hope. We got kids that want to come in here and play football. We got buildings and houses being built more as we go, and we want these kids to come to Weaver High School and see what we're going to be all about. I think you'll be very pleased to see it's going to be a different kind of team you see, for sure.
So, Coach, you've been a head basketball coach and head softball coach, but when you take on the football role, it's completely different than when you're a softball and basketball coach. So, talk about the responsibility. How do you manage your time? At least I know you're just kind of getting started, but
yes, sir.
How have you managed your time between the coaching, the job, and then your family?
Well, when I took the job, I had a good friend, Hammy, told me, he says, your sleeping days is over. And he's exactly right. When you shut your eyes, you see football plays and you think about stuff. And when the daytime is, my phone don't stop buzzing and ringing constantly. Whether it's a kid, whether it's a parent, whether it's a radio show somebody want to talk to, which is great. And I'm kind of embracing that to get to know that, football is very important to people when you're growing up. But when you sit in the seat where I'm sitting at, you really realize how big a deal football is to everybody, because everybody wants to talk to you, everybody wants to see what's going on. And basketball and softball, I could lose a basketball or softball game and about 100 people know. I lose a football game next Friday night in August, 100,000 people is going to know you lose a football game. So, the pressure, which I like it. I think that's why people do this, coach football. I think the pressure and expectations is why we do this. And I'm really excited about getting everything started in August for sure.
Coach, thank you so much for the time, and good luck to you guys this season.
Yeah, look, I appreciate you guys coming out and everything you've done for Weaver High School. I know we're one of the new kids on the block for Average Joes, and I appreciate y'all coming out with softball stuff, and y'all mean a lot. This is a great show. I hope everybody tunes in and keeps up with these Average Joes guys, man. Y'all do a great job for high school football. We appreciate you.
Thank you, sir. All right, we are here at the new portion of Weaver High School, which is absolutely beautiful. I wish I could pan the camera around right now, but I can't. So I'm going to let these gentlemen introduce themselves at this time.
Jackson Williams, junior quarterback.
Jeffrey Miles, junior wide receiver.
Cole Perry, I'm a senior, I'm a safety.
All right, guys, I want to ask you right off the hop, the big elephant in the room last year that's not here this year is a lot of the COVID protocol. How much different has this spring look or this summer workouts look as opposed to last year's?
It's a lot different because you don't got to be 6 feet apart, and we can get everything that we have to get done with no boundaries.
It's a lot better to me too, because we get to work out a lot harder than we ever really have ever since this COVID stuff been happening.
I just feel like it allows for us to be more of a team, like when you can just be around guys just at like all your team, you can just
a little bit more normal, I'm sure, what you're looking at. Yeah. So when I look at the school here, this portion we're sitting in here is brand new. Looking at a new gym now, we're looking at new floors. What does that mean to you guys personally to know that you guys are looked at as leaders in this team that's coming up, and that people care about you and they're actually building onto this school? Do you feel like you're being part of a great foundation moving forward for Weaver High School?
Yeah, just taking pride and just being at Weaver and being a Bearcat, and that's just hopefully we can just continue that culture on.
No doubt.
Yeah. Like he said, it's all about that. For me, leadership, I try to stay on that, try to encourage my teammates, stuff like that.
A big part of the school and stuff getting done is our principals, Mr. Keith and Mr. Brazier, getting everything how it needs to be.
No doubt. This gentleman up over my shoulder right here, Coach, what's it like with your new head coach here?
Oh, it's really fun.
How's that going?
He just meshes really well, and everybody respects him. And you don't have to ask us twice to do something. It's just great.
Yeah, just like he said, it's fun. Practice is fun. Games is fun. I mean, we still put in hard work, but it's still we just have fun at the end.
I think it just brings like a whole new intensity that we didn't have previously. So,
I'm gonna be honest with you. We were over the media portion of the spring games at JSU. When I watched you guys play Meek, and you guys hit that field goal to win that, what was that like? Each one of y'all's perspective. I've read what Coach said about it. What did you feel like when y'all did that?
It was just a sigh of relief, because during the spring we have been working really hard. So to finally get that win, it just once you get one win, you can feel like you can win every game.
Absolutely.
So that's just something needed.
Yeah, to me, it was just different because we ain't won a game in so long, so it just felt good to finally win the game again.
That was my first varsity win, so it was a big deal to me, even if it was a spring game.
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. We supposed to stay unbiased. I ain't gonna lie to you. I celebrated a little bit. I ain't gonna lie. I got the camera on me. The National Guard was standing beside me, but I ain't gonna lie to you. I celebrated a little bit. It was pretty awesome. But guys, the good thing about the situation you were in with a new coach, a new foundation, which we've just mentioned, you guys being the leaders, you can change all that. There's still time, right? So coach put you guys in front of this camera for a reason. He looks at y'all as leaders. Tell me what you're going to do personally to make this team as best it can be.
I'm going to make sure when we're running, everybody runs full speed the whole time, no slacking. When we're working out hard, not skipping reps and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly like he said. I'm just keep doing exactly what I've been doing. Spring game, keep working hard. Tell everybody they need to bounce around, keep doing what they need to do.
Just try and work out as hard as I can, and hopefully that encourages the rest of my team, and try and be a vocal leader as well.
And guys, let's say 15, 20 years from now, when somebody mentions your name at your time here at Weaver, what do you hope they remember you by?
Just a hard worker, just somebody that gave it all every play they had.
I like it.
A leader.
I like that.
I want to be known as a winner, someone that wants to win every time they play.
Hey, let's make it happen, guys. I appreciate you guys sitting here and taking time out. And looking forward to keeping up with you guys this upcoming season. Thank you so much.
Thank you.